Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here. It's Tuesday, and that means we're taking a card out of the catalog and giving it a makeover today. I think it finally feels like fall here. I am looking out my window this morning and it's sunny and it's a little bit cold, not quite freezing yet here in Massachusetts, but it was a little chilly this morning. I had to like bundle up a little bit. I even wore a hat on my walk. And so as I was walking outside in the cool air and the leaves are starting to come down, it's just such a pretty day. And I hope it's pretty wherever you are. And I see a few of you popped on here. Good morning, everyone. So we are going to take a card today and give it a makeover. So let's have a look at what the card is. Let me see. I think it's this one. Nope, wrong. This one. There we go. All right. Have a look at this card sketch or this card. It looks a little crazy, doesn't it? And it's not a bad thing. It's just that this card, if I would never create this card. In a million years, I would never ever come up with this design. And that's okay because everyone has different card designs and I love that. But this actually is a pretty good sketch when you break it down and just figure out how you can make it into something that can translate into many different stamp sets. So let's take a look at the sketch and don't let this initial image scare you off because it's not a hard sketch. Oop. All right, let me overlay this sketch on top of it. So look at that big area in the center, that 4.5 by 3-inch space. That is what you should focus on first. Find an image or something to plop into that space. That is your goal. Then those little gray, different color shades of gray in the background, those little strips, Amy made them 3.25 by 4.25. I made mine 1 inch by 4.25. So my sketch turned out my card turned out just a little bit different. But what I suggest you do is go into your paper packs and find one that has a bunch of little scraps, and you can even use different widths or for those little scraps. They don't have to be 3/4 of an inch. They don't have to be an inch. They can be a variety of inches, and then have those in the background. I'm just going to see all of those strips in the background on this one. The pink, there's kind of a petal pink, a green, another green, a blue. Those are just different strips of paper in the background. And they used vellum on this one, but probably the best bet if you don't want a super busy card is just to go with a white layer. So if we go back to here, basically there's a big focal point layer, there's a tiny greeting layer, and then there's these strips in the background. And I didn't even do this extra layer, this 5.25 by 4 layer. I just dropped that out because I wanted to have a cleaner design. So I'll show you in just a second what I did do for this sketch. And oh, I love that there's people joining me, and I will look through all your comments at the end so I don't get distracted because I don't want to be like squirrel and then be off and on a tangent. So let's do that afterwards. And let's go ahead and let's flip over to my other camera. Here we go. All right, so here is my card for today, and I use these strips of paper, and they are from this paper pack right here, Tidings of Christmas. And this pack, you might not recognize it from the holiday catalog because it isn't in the holiday catalog. This paper is actually from the annual catalog. We had one early Christmas paper in there, and I had a whole bunch of scraps, and so I used my scraps for this card. And so it's nice to find a card that you can use those paper scraps up with. So I recommend using scraps from the same paper pack so they coordinate. And I cut those ones to 4.25 by 1 inch. And I just laid them out there, 5 strips. But you could use varying widths as well. It doesn't have to be 1 inch or 3/4 inch wide. And then there's my focal point layer and my little greeting layer. And, you know, it actually came together really well. And I love how those strips kind of made a special sort of background paper that we don't even sell. It's a mishmash of papers. And so I will show you how I made that. Okay, let's talk about the stamp sets. Delivering Cheer is such a fun stamp set. You've got these 2 bottoms and 3 tops that you can use to create a fun card. And then some greetings, and this one has little leggings if you want to add the leggings. So it's just a cute, cute stamp set. And really easy to color, no faces. You can use different skin tones on the hands and the legs. So, you know, whatever you color skin tone you want to use, we've got different Stampin' Blends that you can use to create that. Then I did want to actually use these 2 greetings, but for the card that we were creating, they were just a little bit too large. So what I suggest, I would use those for the inside. And then I use this stamp set called Banner Year, and I use Christmas wishes, and I cut the Christmas and the wishes in half, and then I stack them instead of side by side. So I'll show you how I did that later. And then I also use the Ornate Frames dies. I use this little die for the greeting just to spruce it up a little bit. Okay, let's get stamping. What shall I do first? I think I'm going to do my focal point layer first. So I've got a piece of basic white here, and this measures 2.5 by 4.5. It's a little different than the original sketch. You can change the measurements a little bit. So I'm going to start off with the bottom legs. And this set of legs works well with the stacked books. You have to kind of choose which of your bottom works with the top. So I'm just going to stamp that down here. This one has kind of a flat bottom, and the other legs have kind of a dip in them, so you kind of have to match those up. And so the gifts work well with this one. I'm sure you could also do some fancy masking if you wanted to use this one with the other legs. But I thought let's keep it easy. So then I'm just going to come in with my books. And you know what? It's best if you stand up when you do this so you can kind of see where you're coming down. Right about there. And oh, good. I want to show you something because I did this on my second stamping around as well, which ended up being my card. But I want to show you this. See how I have a little bit of a gap in between my bottom and my top? I didn't quite connect them perfectly. Well, when you're doing the coloring, you can connect it with color, and you won't even be able to tell that they weren't connected perfectly. So don't worry if you're not 100% perfect with that stamping. We can fix that. Okay, let's fix it right now. I've got my Stampin' Blends, and I've got 4 different colors. And I'll start with my Cherry Cobbler Light, and I'm going to turn this around. And I'm just going to start brushing down my Cherry Cobbler Light with the brush tip because it puts on a lot of color at once. And the nice thing about these blends is they take away those lines. They blend in so nicely. It just looks like one unified color. And there's a lot of shading on here already, so I really don't have to if I don't want to. But I can come in and go over some of these lines again and just deepen them a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. So now up top here, I'm just going to connect this line right underneath this gift. And see, now I've connected those two, and actually I can just brush a little bit like that. And now the dress looks like it's connected. I didn't make a mistake at all. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, so now I'm going to use my cherry cobbler, again, my bullet tip, and I'm going to come in and just hit some of these ribbons. I like to keep my coloring fairly simple. And since I'm using background paper with these colors in it, I'm just really pulling those colors out and not going wild with my coloring. So just adding those little pops of red. Now we can come in with our succulent, soft succulent light. And I'm just going to kind of create a pattern here. So I'm going to do this one down at the bottom in light. I'm going to do this box bottom here. There's a method to my madness, and you can copy me exactly just to keep it simple and easy. I just developed a little pattern with the three different greens, and these greens are very similar. They're just shading. You know, Martha Stewart, this is how she would wrap her gifts, with different shades of blue-green. Okay, now I'm going to use my light evening evergreen. And so I'm bringing in some contrast here. I would get that one. I'm going to do this one. And then I'm going to do this top one. And I suppose I could have left one white, but I was in for all of them. I just decided they would all have color on them. Okay. I think I've done all the dark ones. And now I'm coming back with my soft succulent dark. So in between the two that I just did, those are going to be the remaining gifts. Just to create a little bit of color contrast between the three greens. And this didn't take me too long. Okay. I am turning off my phone because it's ringing this morning. Okay, so now I'm going to come in. This is Petal Pink Dark. And I'm just using that for a skin tone. You can use, we've got crumb cake, we've got bronze. These would all make good skin tone colors, whatever you would like. And then I'm going to use my evening evergreen, not dark, light, and I'll do the shoes. All right, that is all there is to coloring the girl, and easy peasy. Move these aside, and now I'm going to come in and I'm going to do my greeting. So I wanted to show you how I did that. So Christmas and wishes used to be connected up until yesterday, and when I cut them apart right down the center, there was enough space to cut right down, and I can connect them back into a line if I want to stamp them like that again. But now I can stack them, and to get them nice and close, I put them on two different stamps. So I'll use my Memento Black again, and I'll start off with Christmas, stamping on a scrap piece of basic white. Stamp my Christmas first, and then I'll come in with my wishes. And I'm just going to make sure it is fairly close underneath. You want it to be pretty tight if you're going to use the same greeting that the same die that I'm going to use. And let me grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I'm going to roll this out. Grab my little die here. I'm using this one. And we'll pop this on here. And just make sure it kind of fits around there, that it's straight. Plop that on there. Oop. Did I shift? I always feel like I shift right at the last moment. And now I'm really shifting. Okay. It's the way I place my plate down. Okay. It didn't really shift, it just lifted up a bit. There we go. Christmas wishes. And look at the nice little stitched or little dotted edging around the Christmas wishes. It's just wonderful. Okay. I'm gonna pop those in there so they don't fall as I put them down. Okay, we are making good time. So we have these, and now we need a card base, and I'm going to use Sahara Sand. I picked the color right out of the paper pack, and so this one is kind of a tent fold. This started off 11 inches by 4 1/4, and then I scored in half at 5 1/2 inches. Then I'll fold this. And I've got my strips of paper already cut. These strips are all 4 1/4 inches by 1 inch. So very easy. If you want to follow the pattern exactly with the original sketch, then it's 3 1/4 inches. And remember, I dropped the layer, the inner layer. I just dropped it. I don't need a 4 inch by 5 1/4 inch layer. There's enough going on here. I don't need it. So I'll just start by adhering the top one, and I'm going down about a 1/4 inch from the top. And you make sure that first one is straight, because if it's not straight, it's just going to get worse. They're all going to follow that first one. Okay, so got the first one, and then we'll do the second using Tombow. And then I'm just going to slide it right up next to the other one. And if you want to like create a pattern that's not super busy, you might want to look for patterns that don't have a lot of white in them, because white will draw your eye away. So I could have gone with less white in my patterns, but I thought I can get away with 2 having kind of a white base to them. But sometimes when you have white in your pattern, it draws away the eye from the focal point. So just keep that in mind when you're picking your patterns. If you don't like the look of them, it might be because you're competing with your focal point. Okay, I'm almost done. There. Look, isn't that pretty? That looks pretty just on its own, doesn't it? You could just slap a little greeting on there and you wouldn't even need the beautiful image I made. All right, so now you just want to lay this out and make sure your greeting fits over here on the side. If you need to, you can like move your greeting over. Hey, I'm going to try that. I'm going to shift my layer over a little bit. Stampin' Blends bleeds right through the paper, you can see there. So let's shift this a little bit. And then I'm going to ask you which you like better, the shifted one or the one that is straight on. Okay, and then I'm going to attach this one with dimensionals. We'll just pop on 2 on the back here. Like this. Okay, and then we've got a little bow, and this is the from the Essentials Twine pack, and I tied this bow a little earlier. and I'm just going to kind of, I double tied the bow, so it's got 2 loops, and I just want that right about there, just kind of where the Christmas wishes and the dress layer come together. And I'm using Tombow because I actually really like the way Tombow sticks twine to cardstock. It just holds really well. I find it holds better than a mini glue dot. So if you just hold that in place for a few seconds, I think you'll find that your little bow will stick pretty well on there. Okay, and then just for the last little bit, I have some holiday rhinestones. These are really awesome because they've got kind of those jewel tones that you need for your holiday projects. So definitely a fun one to get if you want some holiday pops of jewels. And these already have adhesive on them, so they're just like a joy to use. And I'm just popping a few on here, and I'll use, and they're not even colors, all colors that are in here, but they're like a red, a green, and this, I'm gonna use one of these. This one, I don't know if it's Pool Party or what blue this is, but it kind of picks up this green up here, the succulent green. So it just kind of works together. So just by using the green and the blue green and the red, it just like looks really nice together. And that is all there is to the card. So let's compare the two and let me know what you think. Do you like, let me give some separation. Do you like the card that has this centered? Or do you have the card that has the image off to the side a little bit? What do you think? I don't even know what I think. Even looking at them side by side, I don't know. I don't know. I think if this one wasn't here, I might like this one. And if this one wasn't here, I like this one. Who knows, right? Well, I'll get to your comments in just a second, and we can decide what is what. Okay, I am back here. Let's look at your comments. Oh, before I forget, there is a big stamp sale going on tomorrow, October 20th. 2021 is the date. For 24 hours, Stampin' Up! Will have all of the rubber. Let me see if I have a rubber stamp set here. No, I don't even have one. So all the annual catalog stamp sets that are rubber, that are cling, will be on sale. Neither one of the two that I'm using today are on sale, but there's lots of them that are. So tomorrow, if you log on to the Stampin' Up! Store, there will be a special category for them that you can click on and see all the stamp sets that are on sale, so don't miss that. There might be some stamp sets that you want to pick up from the annual catalog. It's nice to get them at a discount, and it's only 24 hours, only this Wednesday, October 20th, 2021. So make sure you check it out. Set yourself a reminder. If you're on my email list, you will get a reminder from me, so that's not a problem. But if you're not on my email list yet, then you can get on my email list. Look down below in the description of the video, and there will be a link to join my email list. If you're on my email list, I will definitely notify you so you don't miss out on the sale. And the other thing is, if you use my host code, where is my host code? Oh, that's weird. My host code is usually in here, but it is gone. It is gone, and I can't pull it up. I do have a host code, and for some reason, just a second ago, even before I started this, they were there. They were right there, and now they're gone. And I don't want to sit there and type the host code technology. Gotta love it. It just goes whoosh and it's gone. Anyway, down below, I also have a link to my host code. And if you use it, then you will get my host code gift of the month. You need to spend at least $50 for that. Let me grab what I'm giving away. So I finally got them in, the Garden Gems. They came yesterday. They came in the mail. Here they are. Look at them. They are so beautiful. And if you spend $50 with me this month, this will be your gift in the mail that will come in November. So make sure you use the host code so you can pick that up. If you spend at least $15 with me, you can get one of my free with purchase tutorials. All the information's on my blog. If you click over to the host code, it will give you information on the rewards that I give my customers. All right, let's go a look at your comments. Good morning, Amy from Washington. Amy's on my team. Hello, Amy. And Dee's here too, and Ellie. So they are in, I have teams members from all across the US. So we were kind of hitting different parts of the US this morning. Amy's in Washington State, Dee is in Missouri, and Ellie's in New York. Good morning, Cindy. Hello, good morning, Mary, and good morning, Janine. Janine's from Indiana, also a team member. Cindy said, I hope that set returns. Want it now that it's gone. Which stamp set are you talking about, Cindy? You said, hope that set returns. Because all the things I used today should be current. Because the Delivering Cheer is out of the holiday catalog, and the Banner Year is out of the annual catalog. So they should both be available. If you want to let me know what you're talking about, maybe I said something and then but just let me know, Cindy. Okay, hi, Mary. Hello. Okay, Cindy said, I like it off to the left. Oh, that's cool. Mary also likes the one over to the side. Okay. Dee liked the colors. She says the centerpiece brings the eye to the center where the main layer is. Nice. Okay, and Cindy likes the one that's right in the center. So, differing opinions, and I don't think you can really go wrong. I had it in the center initially because that's the way the layout was for the card. And so I was like, oh, that's the way that I should be. But I think, to create a little room for the greeting, to make it look not so pushed over, I tried it over on the side. And when I was coloring, and Dee mentioned she liked my color choices, I basically take the paper, and I choose my paper, and I go to the back of the paper, Tidings of Christmas, and look on there. It gives me all the colors: Cherry Cobbler, Evening Evergreen. I didn't use Misty Moonlight. I used Sahara Sand and Soft Succulent and Whisper White. I used all the colors that were in this paper except for Misty Moonlight, and that's all I did for my coloring. I just brought all the colors except for the skin tone. All of them were just in the paper. So I really try and keep it fairly easy, just starting with the paper and then just working together, pulling the colors right out of the paper, because why make my life harder, right? Harder than it needs to be. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my card today. And if you enjoyed today's card and you like fancy folds or 3Ds, make sure you join me on Friday on my YouTube channel at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when I kind of do a fun Friday project. So make sure you join in over there, and I will hope to see you there. And then, All right, have a great week, and I hope the fall colors are beautiful where you are too. Take care. Bye-bye.